Hello, everyone.
Good everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Bobby. Hello, everyone.
I think today is going to be a short meeting unless anyone has some additional things like to bring up for discussion. I just like to um, go over the outlines again to see if any people will sign up additional sessions because we this is a work that requires all the people to join in, and so uh, so I'm hoping that we'll get more people to oh shoot close it or more people to join in and able to contribute to the um, to do the work altogether. And I like to also collecting your thoughts about the outlines. Um, I saw a few more comments on top, um, and and I'm glad that um, you know all I'm appreciate all these comments because um, that helps a lot. But like to get more people to be involved. If you can, please sign up for any of the sessions that you think you can contribute. So I'll share with the link to this white paper again. If you are not in the mailing list or did not get it the last time, you should be able to uh, go in with a link and edit the document. Um, so that's one thing. Any suggestion about it or any thought about the white paper online?
Yeah, Bobby, I actually have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed up to help write the electrical portion.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
actually add a little bit to the outline, and I'm just thinking, so what is the next step? If we are okay with the outline, are we going to just start writing our perspective session? And if that's the case, is there a template that we should use? I think there's a specific format or something. So any
Right.
comment there?
Yeah, I think uh Michael, do you have since you finished the first white paper, so do you have a better suggestions about this?
That's a question to Mike Bortz. You're, you're, I guess so.
Yeah.
So the white paper we wrote before had sections, and the sections were effectively authored by specific individuals, like chapters. Um, I don't think you're using that approach here. I think from what I can tell, the approach you're taking is something where people contribute sections and subsections. But I don't know that they're going to be getting that you're going to have each of these major parts of this white paper individually authored. So if you scan up to the top, I just don't know what your strategy is for the authorships approach. So I guess in the top section, I see two people's names listed. So,
Yeah, look, I think you're right, Mike. Just to comment on that. So, we can certainly list the authors, the collective authors for the paper in the paper if we choose. Otherwise, it could be anonymous. But I think the goal is that the people are signing up to provide content, right? And then as a as a team, we can edit the content, if it's appropriate or whatever, right? So we've got to, there's going to be some editing going on. It's not, it's really, but as you said, you're correct. It's a combined white paper authored really by the work stream, right? So it's a collective
yeah.
paper, and that's the format that we're following.
If that's the strategy you want to take, then my recommendation is to not dwell at this point in time on formatting each section, each chapter. Don't worry about a template. I would request the individuals that are providing content to core dump the figures and the general verbal content and equations or whatever into those sections, because if it's one contiguous paper, um, then there will be some formatting that has to be done at the editing level to sort of align the chapters and
Yeah.
so
And
I think at that point in time, if that's the strategy you want to take, the critical issue I think are the figures and the equations that are going to go into each major
right.
section, because that's really what takes all the time. Once you have the figures and the figures, the data, and the equations, writing the words around those are usually pretty straightforward.
Right. And I think what I'd like to avoid is people editing like this document right here that Bobby said. I think if individual, so this is just the outline, right? We will create the paper as the last step, right? The first step is, as you said, get the content, the equations, the figures, also the text that supports those figures. So basically kind of take ownership of your assignment and then send a document that has all of that in there. And we can put it can be a shared Google Doc, but I'd rather not have people editing this document. So yeah, I think it's clear enough.
And
Just send
the
us the
outline
content.
will evolve over time
Exactly. Right.
as people
Right.
decide what content they want to incorporate. But again, what takes all the time are things like figures, graphs of data, charts, and everybody who's going to contribute to this has on their computer the graphs and the charts really that they're going to contribute already. I mean, I wouldn't expect anybody to spend a day making some gorgeous picture for this paper when they probably have a similar picture that's already available, from their work for their job. They may also have to
Right.
get that information approved. They may have to get data approved through their corporate channels. Most of the people on this call, I think, are smaller firms. So what I would what I would recommend is people get their pictures, their figures, and their charts and their graphs that they want to include in this submitted into a share drive and approved through their internal process. To me,
Yeah,
that
what I can do is I'll create a Google Drive where people can drop their content.
yeah. And then, by the way, what OCP can do is I've done this before. Is I've sent like 20, 30, 40 figures to an Upwork person, and they've converted them into each figure into sort of a nicer figure with sort of a uniform coloring scheme. So I've been in situations before where I've had people, I didn't do this for the previous OCP white paper, but for other things I do, I've got like three figures and they're in different color schemes. And I don't want to spend 4 hours fixing everything, but you can find somebody on Upwork that does that for 20 bucks an hour in Colombia or something like that. So there's ways to get a large number of figures sort of tidied up very cost effectively.
Good to know.
That's all I have.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Ron. So I think that thanks for all the suggestions and to answer Raymond's questions. I think we have the we have this drive for what I do in here is we have this um, white paper drive in here, and I think we can open up to everyone. And if you have finished your writing, just dump it in as one of the of a file. You know, just do your knowledge dump in here, and also the figure you can just paste it in, everything else, and then we will working on the formats and the things all together to becomes like the final white paper. And as Michael pointed out, the outline will evolve. So what I'd like to do is uh, will probably do is I would like to do in the future is once you have your files goes in here and you let me know, then we can have a hyperlink somewhere in here. So we can easily pointing out what would be the contents in here, and then then we can build it up from there.
Okay, sounds good. So Bobby, once you open up the Google Drive, please send out the link. Yeah, I can. I think for my session, actually, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I can start putting things in and gathering stuff and dump it into the drive. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ruben. So the so if we that's mostly for the white paper part, and I think I'd like to do a small advertisement again in the global summit. The Shorich will have a workshop like last year. So it will be a whole afternoon and probably 3.5 hours to 4 hours. I think it will be somewhere around 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock range. Um, and the um, and it will all dedicated for the short-reach optics. So the good things about it is if you miss uh, the talk or paper submission deadlines, this session because it's all just from up to us, so I won't close the sessions until pretty close to the summit. So I have all the flexibility to do so. So I'm open up to everyone in here, or if you know someone else that could be interested, they would like to talk about there's interesting stuff, or they like to share their company's technology specifically for the Skill Up network, like to addressing certain problems. Please, spread the words, let people know, and this would be an open sessions that would be able to let a lot of people have a chance to provide their contents.
Hey, Bobby, do you know which day of the summit this workshop is going to be?
I don't know yet. I hadn't received any finalized
I think,
words
Bobby,
from
my guess it would be Thursday.
Thursday?
That's what it's been traditionally, yeah. The last day. I think that's would still be the
No,
plan.
I think last year was in the second day, so um, it's actually the second days of the summit. It's pretty quite good. So it's very
Okay,
crowded.
so yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay. You're right. Last year it was on the second, the Wednesday, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
Let me just.
we hadn't received the official confirm about the date yet, but that's I'll let everyone knows as soon as I receive the information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so any additional things that people like to bring up? If not, I think we can conclude the meeting earlier.
Hey, I can actually bring up something, Bobby. Sorry, it just
Oh,
took me a
okay.
second to get off the
Great,
meeting.
great. Thanks, James. Yeah, please go.
Here, I'll come off, go on video. Hey, everyone. Sorry I've missed the past few weeks of calls. I like to typically join this as one of the people on the staff that has some responsibility for FTI. Happy to see the white paper, by the way. So great work there. I wanted to let you guys know that in the Open Systems for AI strategic initiative, if you followed that, you would notice that group has been holding workshops. They're virtual workshops on Zoom, and they're typically half a day, usually 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., some time zone, probably, Pacific time zone, I think is usually what people settle on. The workshops were sort of divided up into 3 AI areas. So there's data center physical infrastructure, data center IT infrastructure, and systems management. And we're sort of halfway through that. There was 3 workshops in the first area of physical infrastructure. We thought with some of the area leads for IT infrastructure that we'd probably do 4. We just did silicon. We're going to do one on server design and fault and hardware management. We'll do one on networking and one specifically on like photonics. And then we'll go over to systems management finally. So we're kind of gearing up right now to invite people to speak on these virtual workshops. Usually we get, if we do a 3-hour format, we usually do 15 minutes per, with some room for breaks and stuff like that maybe, but about a dozen different speakers usually. We try to do like 15 minutes, maybe 10-minute talk and some discussion, or we often have discussion at the breaks or something like that, is how it's gone so far. So I figure that, this audience is probably interested in the networking and the photonics interconnect for AI clusters. And so I wanted to let you guys know about that. Right now, Rob Coyle on the staff of OCP is organizing it, but I'll help on these 2 in particular for networking and photonics interconnect. So we're looking for volunteers that may want to help lead the workshop, which would involve coming up with a list of people to invite and just confirming them, and building the agenda in an order that makes sense and collecting everybody's slides, at least, having a quick look at them to make sure that they make sense. And to a certain extent, you could help with outreach, although the foundation will obviously help with that too. We've had anywhere from like 600 people register for a workshop to about 300 on the low end, so it's quite great. They're recorded obviously and posted on the opencompute.org/AI page, and we'll do that for these ones too. There's obviously a lot of submissions to the Global Summit that I think are considerable, but also whether they make the cut or not, probably also repurposable for this kind of thing, that I would be happy to share since I have access to them. But I am kind of looking for volunteers to help lead it at this point. And then for people that may not want to volunteer but want to speak, I'd be happy to also hear from you in that capacity. So just a request / announcement about that.
Great. Thanks, James.
All right. Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you, James. So yeah, if no one else has anything like to chip in, we can end up early today.
Hey, Bobby, I might just want to chime in here too. So do any of the authors that have signed up for sections have any have any questions about content? And by the way, we can have more than one contributor to each section of the outline. You know, I can see Tamal is signed up for a few sections. So no worries if multiple people sign up, but I guess just putting it out there, if we have a few more minutes left. Do you have any questions, or do you have content you'd like to start getting reviewed? Okay, sounds
Yeah,
like maybe.
I mean,
Yeah.
as I look at the outline and I'm thinking about this, I'm struggling with the angle. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. So what am I saying here? This is not a factual. I mean, I don't know. I'm struggling with how, you know, this is being positioned. I mean, so for example, I'm interested in the fiber part, right? And I'm thinking, so what am I saying here? What is needed?
Okay, that's a good question to get started on. So when it comes to fiber, let's see, we're down, Daryl, I'm just looking for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah.
yeah, we're
But-
just looking for, what what would some of the specs be
Okay.
for each type of
Okay.
fiber?
Okay.
Yeah,
For this application.
right.
Okay. Got you.
What fibers applicable,
Right.
multi-mode, single mode,
Right.
etc.
Yeah. Okay.
And
That's
again, right there, okay, that's a perfect place where we can show, okay, look, it's open source. These are fiber is easily available. There's nothing special about it, etc. And obviously there's multiple types that can be used. Yeah.
well, it's not entirely true, right? I mean, there are some things that are different because the lengths are so short and the band radiuses are so high, right? So you have to be careful with things like reliability and multipath interference and things like that. So you might have to make some adjustments of your design to support this specific application.
Correct. Yeah, I think we just want to spell that out.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I guess if there's no questions, other questions, that's easy. But Bobby and I'll be monitoring the folder. I put the link in the chat. And what we can do is just start reviewing the content that's provided. Okay, sounds good.
So I just changed the SS for the folder into anyone with a link. So it's not just limited by if you have the access to the you've been added request the access to the Google Drive. So if you copy the link that Ron put it into the the chat, you should be able to do the upload or move the files, anything. So if you have any problem to access the folder, please let me know. We'll help with that. All right. I guess that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.